Hello. Good evening.
Hello.
Hi.
Howdy.
Howdy. Hi. Hi, chat. Hello, everybody. I've got Existential Gamer and Expired Milk here this evening. Hope everyone's well. How are
Yep.
you two?
Good.
Oh, all's dandy.
Hmm.
About to launch on a new top secret mission.
Very good. I hope it goes well.
Yeah.
Um, I am cat sitting with cats I've sat many times before. Um, Only this time, oh boy, I've been here for like 4 hours and it's been a nightmare. Um,
What?
yeah, I was here like last month for like 6 days, and both of the cats are quite old. They're like 17, 18 years old.
Oh.
Yeah. And the one was having, I don't know what was going on, but he was just like not making it to the litter box.
Oh
Mm.
no.
But it was, anyway, at least it was solid poops.
That's good. Oh God.
And today I've been here for 4 hours and I've cleaned up 4 liquishits.
Oh no. Poor guys.
Yeah, I feel bad for the cat. He's on like medication for his tummy and special tummy food, but
Mm-hmm.
why me?
I'm sorry. That
So
sucks for you.
I've been doing that with the little green machine spot cleaner. Good times. One day down, not even, 4 hours down, 8 days to
Mm.
go. So good for me.
That's too bad because when you first said it was a bad 4 days, I was like, but cats are so low maintenance. But if you
Yeah,
got a sick one or an old one, yeah, the poor
not so
guys.
much. We'll see how it goes. But
No.
anyway, yes. Hi, everyone in the chat. Hello, Gabriel and Nix and Tori and Fax Machine. Hello, Mothman. Hello, Slacker.
I
Contemptuous
like that.
Scarlet.
I like that name. Level 99 Slacker.
Yeah, very good.
It's a name
Very
after my own heart.
good. Hello. So we're gonna do this evening a little bit of a double feature, I guess.
Okay.
The topic we originally were going to speak about, which is the separation of church and state. It's quite a short little article. So we thought we would double it up with a companion one about right wing Trump boys in schools making lives miserable for everyone.
USA. USA.
But yeah, okay. So hope everyone's well. We might as well get started, I guess.
Let's do this.
All right, let's share my screen here. We'll remove this and we'll get going. I'll just do some resizing so I can see what's what. Yeah, so this it's quite a Americentric, but that's okay. The separation of church and state thing is something that I always hear coming up because it doesn't seem like there is much of a separation.
No, and America's the one that touts that as one of our ideals, right?
Right.
And it doesn't always happen like that.
There's in the chat, someone's username is some handle. Very good username. I love that.
That is
That's
good.
very good. Hi. Okay, so America's lack of separation between church and state explained, and how religion became a force in U.S. politics. Okay, so the concept of separation of church and state isn't quite as ironclad as you may think. The First Amendment prohibits laws respecting an establishment of religion, a provision that many Americans believe should create a firm wall of separation between church and state. But the Constitution also does not enforce itself. In the United States, we rely on judges and Supreme Court justices to determine what the Constitution means and to apply it to individual cases. That is interesting to me that, yeah, the Supreme Court kind of determines what it means.
I suppose someone would have to be
Mhm.
arbiters. The Constitution is not a living thing, so people
Mhm.
would
Yeah.
have to, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. I mean, they say that like it's kind of weird, but I mean, how else would you? Somebody would have to interpret it, and
Yeah, I guess that makes sense actually because, it was written so long ago that
Yeah.
they have to interpret how it might apply today in our
Mhm.
modern world. Okay,
Because that
fair
makes me
enough.
think, do other countries not have a Supreme Court? I never even looked.
Yeah, we do. We do in
Yeah.
Canada. They do in the UK and Australia.
Yeah, they
Um,
might call it something different, but it's pretty much the same
mhm.
concept. Yeah.
Yeah, in Canada, we don't have the Constitution, though. We have the Charter of Rights and Freedoms,
Mhm.
but same concept, basically.
Yeah.
Um, that means that the amount of church and state separation in the United States tends to ebb and flow depending on who sits on the Supreme Court. That's really crazy that it can be,
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
I wonder if they're going to I haven't read ahead, but I being as old as I am, I wonder if they're going to address the whole like 80s uh like the religious right, the rise
Uh-huh.
of the religious right that happened under Reagan,
Mhm.
which from my perspective at my age, that's when that it really started to kick in, like the conflation of the religious with
Uh-huh.
conservatives with Republicans, because before that it wasn't
Yeah, it
really.
was hardly religious at all.
Yeah, and even my, obviously my dad, who's way older than me,
Mm.
we're totally different politically, but even he also was like, yeah, that the religious right in the 80s is when they started becoming bedfellows, basically.
Mhm.
Is
Yeah,
that
there was
when they
a time.
started? Oh, is that when they started calling D&D demonic?
Yeah, that was in the 80s, the Satanic Panic, the whole D&D scare. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was the 80s.
Yeah, and there was a time when, like, Republicans or conservatives, they were not tied together with Christianity at all.
Yeah.
It was like your religion was totally separate from your politics.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so the idea that the government should play no role in funding or encouraging religion probably hit its high water mark in the mid 20th century. As the Supreme Court said in Everson versus Board of Education, 1947, no tax in any amount, large or small, can be levied to support any religious activities or institutions, whatever they may be called, or whatever form they may adopt to teach or practice religion. That suggests that it is unconstitutional to fund any religious activity with money collected from taxes.
It's so interesting because the culture here was way more religious in everyday life.
Mhm.
And yet we had more separation of church and state back in the
Yeah.
mid-century. And that's because everybody, back then everybody went to church. Most people
Yeah.
were religious in some way. The whole, I feel like the atheist movement really caught steam like during my lifetime, not
Mhm.
during the mid-century. So
No.
yeah. I
Yeah.
just think it's really interesting how even though you ask the average man or woman on the street if they go to church and believe in God, that you're probably going to get like a majority yes in the mid-century, whereas today maybe not so much.
Mhm.
But
But mm,
do you think it might be more of a topic now because not necessarily that we're more religious than we used to be, but that because there are more religions at play in,
mm,
in politics, in different demographics? Because, back in the 40s, it was, pretty much assumed that the vast majority of people were Christian. But
yeah,
even when what was it? When Kennedy was
He was a
elected,
Catholic.
there was
yeah,
a
being a
concern that
Catholic
he
was
would
like,
yeah, there was a concern that he would put the Pope and the Vatican above the United States, and it was like a
yeah,
problem.
that's true. Catholics used to be considered controversial.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of Christian sects don't consider Catholics to be Christians at all.
Mhm.
Huh, yeah, that's right. And nowadays they'd be lumped in the same. Like maybe
Mhm.
other Christians would disagree still, but I think to
Yeah, I
the
think they
average
largely
person,
do disagree.
yeah, but I think to like just the average non-religious person, you ask them like, is a Catholic Christian? They're gonna be like, well, yeah, they believe in Christ and they go to church,
Mhm.
right? So
They got big gold crosses everywhere.
yeah,
Very gothic.
Bedazzled.
listen, it's very
Yes.
decadent and
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, I was raised Catholic, so
My extended family is Catholic. So
lots
by
of
birth, I am considered Catholic. I had my first communion and I was baptized.
That's all you need.
I mean, it kind of is, according to
No,
what.
it genuinely is. Like the
Yeah,
Catholic Church believes once you're baptized, you are a Catholic for life, no matter if you renounce the faith at all. Like
right.
you are and forever will be a Catholic.
Mm-hmm.
We learned about Catholicism from Italian mafia movies.
That's pretty much the same. That's exactly accurate.
Yeah,
Wouldn't you
Yes,
say, Radical?
pretty
exactly.
much.
Yeah.
So, um, okay, so yeah, with that suggests that it's unconstitutional to fund any religious activity with money collected from taxes. Um, is there religious activity funded by tax money in the States?
Well, churches are tax exempt. I know that.
Yeah, they are
But
tax exempt.
Yeah.
So maybe, I don't know if they collect money from taxes directly, but they collect
Mhm,
money by not paying
mhm,
taxes.
mhm,
yeah.
mhm. Yes, exactly, TLK. Cradle Catholics. That's what they're called.
Yeah.
Yep. Throwback to when our preacher wouldn't let people leave until he collected like $5,000.
Geez, really?
Yeah,
That's so much money for
it was
one church full of
crazy.
people?
I
No.
mean, it was like, what was it? It must have been Easter, or if it wasn't Easter, it was Christmas. And he was like, he made a slideshow of like someone's damaged basement and like someone else's damaged whatever. And he says, we haven't been donating enough, so we're gonna sit here until we've collected $5,000.
Holy shit. Listen, it's been a long time since I've been in a church, but it doesn't seem like there's enough people in your average mass to have $5,000 between them
Yeah,
all.
because of
Are
the
they just
holiday, we squeezed
like, are
squeezed
these all
through.
rich people? Like, is the congregation rich? Like, oh my God.
And then they had this old man, like, counting these dollar bills on the
Oh
top
my
of the
god.
piano, and he was going so slowly. I was like, "Dad, just let me go up there. I can count this faster so we can leave."
Oh my god.
Wow.
Uh,
That's crazy.
You
Woohoo.
know, I read in the chat about the cradle versus the converts. I'm actually
Mhm.
not a cradle Catholic. My grandmother badgered my dad until they finally relented and had us baptized, and I was like 11.
Oh,
Oh.
old,
So I
ancient.
was old for baptizing, and then I had my first communion because she insisted. Because my dad is an atheist,
Mm.
and my mom back then was non-religious, not anymore, but yeah, so it was like a thing. And then once that happened, my grandma really backed off because she was so terrified that we would go to hell or whatever. So yeah, so I was an 11-year-old baptized kid.
Yeah, Catholics also believe in original sin, that like you're born a sinner, so they try to
Hmm.
baptize you ASAP because if you die as a baby, you won't go to heaven if you're not baptized. So
Yeah, I had that
Oops.
conversation with my grandma when she
they
was trying
try
to
to do it
convert
ASAP.
me.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, during that time where she was, pressuring my parents and stuff, she was trying to give me Bible lessons, and that was one of the questions. I was like, "So babies just go to hell?" She's like, "Well, no, they go to purgatory." And I had her describe what that was, and I was like, "That kind of sounds like another type of hell." It's just like
Mhm.
floating in nothingness forever, is how she
Yeah, it's like
described it to me.
a waiting room.
Yeah, but like my kid brain was like, "But yeah, you're not burning for all eternity, but that sounds awful too. Like you're just bored for the rest of eternity."
I
Yeah.
imagine purgatory as like the dentist's waiting room. You got the fish tank.
Mhm.
You're just sitting there forever.
Secret shade, I kept asking my grandmother how people are born with sin. I didn't think it was fair too, so I got outraged at the time, and I get it. I don't know
Yeah.
how little babies are born as sinners. It seems awfully
Yeah, so
mean-spirited.
it definitely is nuts, but they believe that yeah, until you are anointed by God in baptism with holy water, like that's what cleanses your sins. Um and you have to go through that process in order to be worthy of heaven. So
Yeah.
if you were not baptized, then you can't go to heaven. Um, and because Eve ate the apple in the Garden of Eden, that means that everyone, the punishment, part of the punishment of that was that everyone from then on would be born a sinner
Mm-hmm.
because of Eve's bad deed.
Yep. And the other part was that women were responsible, and that's why we suffered in childbirth,
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
women's
which is,
punishment for Eve's
yeah.
um, her sin of eating the apple from the tree of knowledge.
Because grandma
But,
told me that before she did that, women just easily gave birth and there was no pain. I'm like, really?
but canonically, if a baby dies without being baptized, they'll go to hell. But if you're in the Italian mafia and murder a bunch of people, you can just say sorry in the phone booth with the
The
priest.
phone booth, the confessional. Yeah, that's completely true. No
That
matter
is
your
true.
crimes, if you ask God for forgiveness, you can go to heaven.
That was another conversation I had with grandma. I was
Yeah.
like, so somebody could just kill people and then on their deathbed they could repent and beg
Mhm.
God for forgiveness? She's
Yep.
like, yeah. And yeah, babies go to, I think she just told me they go to purgatory because I was
Yeah,
quite
they do.
upset at them going to hell. It didn't sound any better.
Yeah, good times.
Yeah, Lily, woman has a snack, dooms humanity. God
Literally.
forbid women do anything.
I know.
Hardcore.
All right, we're getting here to the Nixon administration. So, beginning in the Nixon administration, however, the court started to move steadily rightward. Nixon filled 4 of the 9 seats on the Supreme Court, though most of his nominees were relative moderates compared to the increasing ideological justices chosen by Presidents Reagan, Bush, and Trump.
Mm-hmm.
Today, the Republican Party has a 6-3 supermajority on the Supreme Court. To me, it seems crazy that that should be allowed. Like, of course, there's an odd number of seats, so there's going to be a majority one way or the other. But I feel like it should only ever be 5-4,
Yeah, I
like
know.
with one swing, potential swing.
You would think that that would be a rule.
It
Yeah,
should
but
be.
It
I
should
feel
be.
like, historically, well, this may be right or wrong, but perhaps historically there hasn't been such a big ideological difference
Yeah,
between the parties that you see these
yeah, I think you're
days.
right.
Yeah.
But it is still crazy to me
The
that.
gulf, yeah, the gulf seems so wide these days where it
Mhm.
wasn't even 20, 30 years ago wasn't this bad.
Mhm.
And it is crazy, especially for a country and a government that lauds itself on separation of church and state and like checks and
Freedom.
balances, freedom. They're always talking about like um, trying to speak for the everybody, trying,
Mhm.
yeah, but they don't do that.
So, yes, today the Republican Party has a 6-3 supermajority on the Supreme Court. And when church and state cases have come before them, all 6 of those Republicans have behaved exactly how you would expect members of a political movement closely aligned with the conservative Christianity to behave. Mm.
Mm.
Yeah, and then again, yeah, that's the whole thing right there. That's not the separation of church and state, right? They are aligning and voting with their Christianity, not necessarily the law or the government.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, if you track it logically, these people really do believe that their beliefs are the one only belief and that a
Yeah.
theocracy is the
Yeah,
moral
they
thing that
should.
they need to,
Mhm.
yeah, like that's their calling almost to convert people, to spread the word. Um, they probably think that separation of church and state leads to hell and godlessness and all this stuff. So they really believe they're doing the right thing.
Yeah. And kind of like, yes, Stinky pointed out, oh, well, radical is that you can swear it on any book,
Yep.
but even aside from stuff like swearing it on the Bible, like the God is all over our money, it's all
Yeah.
Yeah,
over pretty
God
much
hates that.
every
yeah.
any federal thing you can point to, there's probably some version of God baked in
Mhm.
somewhere, which is why I say, oh yeah, well, America was founded on all these very Protestant beliefs, and I think that they did the whole separation of church and state thing just so they wouldn't get screwed over like they did in Europe. um,
You know what
but
I'm also like what I'm almost surprised doesn't exist in the United States? is
Hmm.
Christian prisons.
Huh.
I'm almost
Actually, yeah.
like it almost seems like there would be.
Yeah, it would be like a hotbed
Mhm.
of like to
Right.
put almost like a cult in there, like a really
Mhm.
fundy Christian, like trying to convert all these people and like making little churches out of prisons. Like, yeah, you'd think.
Like yes, there are religious groups in jails, but
Hmm.
it almost seems like just because Christianity is so baked into so much, you would like I could imagine there being a Christian prison in the South somewhere, but
Yeah,
that's
like kind of like
Yeah.
Christian schools, but
Yeah,
prison.
exactly.
yeah. I was thinking that like the boot camps for misbehaving teens that are
Yeah.
Christian. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, I want to point out Stinky's comment about separation of church and state. Now swear on this Bible, but a lot of people don't know that you can choose to swear on any book you want. It doesn't have to be the Bible in a court of law.
Gonna
That's
swear
just
it on green eggs and ham.
yeah, literally, you could. You
Yeah.
absolutely could.
Gabrielle, I believe they do have chapels. Anything associated with the military also has chapels.
Yeah, there are chapels. There are like different worship services in prisons, like for Christians or Muslims or whoever. I
Right.
just mean like I'm surprised that there isn't a Christian owned and operated prison in the United
Hmm.
States because it seems like something that would exist there.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? And a lot of inmates, like the typical, like the stereotypical story of like guy goes to prison,
Flying
finds
squad.
Jesus. Yeah, exactly.
Shout out to my cousin.
Yeah,
Mm,
yeah. It's a stereotype for a reason. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
they become born again or whatever. Yeah, you'd think it would
Mhm.
be more, I guess, organized in a prison, more,
yeah.
more institutional rather than just among the inmates.
Hmm. Yeah. So why is religion in public schools and on American money? Let's start with Carson versus Macon 2022, in which the Republican justices concluded that if a state offers vouchers to help some students pay for private education, it must allow those vouchers to be spent on religious schools. The court also recently announced that it will hear two other cases out of Oklahoma, which are likely to require states to fund religious charter schools. That's crazy to me.
Hmm.
You know what? Okay, so speaking from the normie angle, as someone who's known normies in my life who have sent their kids to religious private school, even though they themselves were not very religious,
Hmm.
it's because unfortunately a lot of those schools have much stricter academic standards. So they thought they were giving their kids a better education.
Hmm.
And like a lot of public schools can have violence, fights and
Hmm.
stuff. And the religious schools had less of that, or at least the perception was that they had less of that.
Yeah.
So yeah,
That's the
I mean,
case here with Catholic schools. Like,
yeah.
um, because I went to Catholic school and admissions are, primarily saved for those who are affiliated with the Catholic Church, but there was always a few spots for kids who were not officially Catholic. And because the class sizes are much smaller, the school district is
Hmm.
much smaller, the education was a little bit better just due to class sizing primarily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have, I mean, there were theology classes from what I heard, but they also had like better teachers, just
Yeah.
better,
Yeah.
more funding,
Because
better
private schools
teachers.
can pay teachers more.
Oh,
Mhm.
right, right. They had a better curriculum, and I think a lot of the parents, even if they're not super religious, look to that. And a lot of them have uniforms. They're well run. Like it seems like
Mhm.
a nice school to send your kids to. Like you can just kind of ignore all the God stuff. They're getting a good education, and they
Mhm.
usually have good reputations too. Like, oh, I sent my daughter or my son to X private school. Like it looks good on a college application,
Yeah.
all this stuff that normie parents might decide with, rather than like I'm a Bible thumper and my kid has to go to religious school.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, a lot of our public schools need a lot of revamping here.
Big time.
Oh,
Hmm.
Fax Machine is asking about if a certain question is common to hear in the US.
Which church do you go to?
Yeah.
I just say it depends where you live.
Yeah.
Hmm. I'm not asked that question, but I live in New England. I'm sure if you live in the South, they might ask you that.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, like up north, I've never really been asked that unless I was at a specific religious function that had multiple
Mm,
churches there. So it makes sense. Oh, which
yeah,
church do you go to? But in
right.
the South, particularly in smaller small town areas, a lot of the social scene is built around churches.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
even like when I was younger and I wasn't touring, but I was living in different places for extended periods of time to do a contract. My parents were like, "Hey, you should really, you know, make yourself known in a church congregation. So if you disappear, more than just your boss will notice." So in that context, it's like, "Oh yes,
Mm,
this is expired. She goes to this, congregation and blah blah blah."
Yeah.
So
yeah.
kind of baked into the social scene.
Yeah, and I think it could be generational too, because I know a lot of older people still, like a lot of their community is still built around
Mm-hmm.
churches. Even up here, you see a lot more old, like people my grandparents' age or even my parents' age going to church in
Yeah.
New England. You don't really see that too much with people my gen or below.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm 37, and there is no one in my social circle who goes to church. I don't know
Yeah,
anyone who does,
yeah.
but a
I
lot of
don't.
our parents do.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Like I can't think of anybody I know who's my age or younger either, unless they're like I've got cousins, but they're like specifically very, very Catholic and practicing, and they don't live here, so they live out west or whatever. So, but
Yeah.
you kind of you have to be in that circle at this age. Whereas I think if you're older, I think more people just I feel like my grandmother would get asked what church she went to by people her own age, perhaps.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay. But yeah, so this is crazy that requiring states to fund religious charter schools seems crazy
Yeah.
to me in somewhere that touts being having the separation of church and state. That's nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're looking for an explanation for this shift, you will not find it in the Constitution, as the text of the First Amendment has not changed. You will find it instead within the shifting personnel within the Supreme Court. The question of whether taxpayers must fund religious schools is a hotly contested one and is likely to hinge on which political party controls the Supreme Court for the foreseeable future. But it's worth acknowledging that there are people of faith in both political parties. Americans of all political persuasions care a great deal about their churches, mosques, temples, and synagogues.
I
In,
actually used to, oh, sorry.
you know,
I used to follow a page on Facebook back when I used Facebook,
yeah.
called the Christian Leftists. And it was basically like leftists who were Christians and like
Mhm.
tried to actually follow Jesus's teachings about, you know,
Yeah.
basically being socialists.
Love the
That,
poor, take
yeah.
care of your neighbors, yada yada.
Yeah, right. I just found it a little fascinating. So I'd read
Mhm.
some of their posts and I'd be like, oh, this is different than the religious people that I generally see, which are who are on the right.
Hmm.
Yep.
Hmm.
Indeed, that may explain why Trump, who, as a private citizen campaigning for office had a First Amendment right to say anything he wanted to say about religion, chose to center religion in his campaign and even sell Bibles.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. The Bible is literally the most popular book in the world, and millions of American voters look fondly upon politicians who align themselves with it. And this reality also shapes how, say, U.S. tax policy functions. There's never been a serious effort to strip religious charities, including houses of worship, of their tax exempt status. And there probably never will be because the people who attend those houses of worship are voters, and they would likely rise up in outrage if such a thing were attempted.
So this kind of goes back to my point about how the
Mhm.
normie parents will see the private religious schools as better.
Mhm.
There's like this thing in this country, even if you're like a lot of people think, even if you're not religious, not practicing, they seem to think that just having a religion means that you have more access to morality and like a
Yeah.
well-led life. Like that's another thing of why some kind of agnostic or casually religious parents might send their kids to school because they'll say to you, they'll be like, well, you know, they can learn good morals at
Yeah.
the religious school. Oh, this politician goes to church, well, he must be of a better moral fiber than the other guy who doesn't go to church. There's just this assumption that if you have a godly, live a godly life, you have some kind of moral high ground here. Even if the person making that judgment isn't religious and they don't go to church at all, they just have this assumption. And it's
Yeah.
really weird because I've seen it play out. I'm like, well, you don't go to church. Like, yeah, I don't go to church. I'm a piece of shit. But that guy, oh, he's better than the rest of us. He has a Bible. He goes to church.
Oy.
Look at him. He's righteous. Like, no, that's not how it works.
No.
Mm-mm.
Good grief.
Mm-hmm.
Good grief. So that said, the Constitution has also long been understood to forbid religious discrimination. So these tax exemptions must be offered equally to people of all faiths. If a church can claim a tax exemption, a mosque must also be able to claim that same exemption on the same terms. Similarly, there are some largely ceremonial and symbolic nods to religion, such as the use of the phrase, "In God We Trust," on U.S. coins, or the opening of many legislative sessions with a prayer. Really?
That wouldn't surprise me.
No, I was just gonna say it's not surprising to me either.
Whoa, that is really surprising to me.
It
As
Not at all.
oh my
Not.
god.
Mm-mm.
Okay, wow. Um, that, as the Supreme Court said in Marsh versus Chambers, 1983, are deeply embedded in the history and tradition of this country. A history and tradition that, especially early on, was intertwined with Christianity. The courts have left many of these symbolic acknowledgments of religion in place, in part because attempting to dislodge them is unlikely to be successful.
You know what? The reason it doesn't surprise me too, and I'm sure Expired Milk can confer. Maybe they phased this out when you were in high school or whatever. But remember, pledge allegiance to the flag
Oh yeah.
every morning in school, every morning, and it has the words "under God" in
Yeah.
it. And you put your hand over your heart, and you all stand up. You look at the flag hanging in the classroom, and you all pledge allegiance to the flag, and you say "under God" at the end.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and then
Um,
there was like a whole kerfuffle of, well, do the kids, are they being made to say the under God part?
I mean,
And
you didn't have to pledge. I didn't always pledge allegiance. Nobody would say anything if you didn't, but it was just something that everybody did.
yeah.
uh, in my school, I didn't go to a Catholic school, but it was a private school, and we didn't start the Pledge of Allegiance thing until 9/11.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
Oh
it became
shit!
yeah, it became a thing following 9/11, along with having all like an American flag installed in every classroom so you could, pledge allegiance to
Yep.
it. Um, but then
Hmm.
it ended up phasing out. I forget when we stopped doing it, but probably until at least 2004, 2005, we did it every day.
Yeah, I'm just looking. Gabriel said, I heard the pledge didn't used to have under God in it, and I just looked at the Wikipedia. Under God was added in 1954.
Yeah.
Really?
Well, and atheists have been trying to take that bit out
Yeah.
since in my lifetime, but it's never took. Yeah, I can definitely recite it too,
Yeah.
Lily.
The first version from 1892 was simply, I pledge allegiance to my flag and the republic for which it stands, one nation indivisible with liberty and justice for all.
Oh,
What a fun fact.
And in
yeah,
1954, it was one nation under God was added.
right. Yep.
Crazy. Yeah, we don't have anything like that in Canada at all. Uh,
Mm.
we pl- we played the national anthem over like the school speakers on Fridays.
Mm-hmm.
But that
Mm-hmm.
was it. But I went to Catholic school, so there was morning and dismissal prayer every day.
Yep.
Really
Yeah.
wild.
Yeah, I went to public school. I didn't go to private school or a Catholic school. My entire and just like Level 99 Slacker said, like before 9/11, I mean, I was already an adult by the time that happened. And my
Mhm.
entire school career, we pledge allegiance to the flag every morning.
Crazy.
Yep.
Crazy. Yeah, we don't have any equivalent thing in Canada.
Yeah. So I
There's
think that's a big reason why like Expired Milk and I are just not surprised. Like,
yeah.
yeah, like it's just it sounds so normal. Yeah, of
Yeah.
course. I'd be actually more surprised if they didn't do shit like that.
Mhm.
Crazy. Um, To understand why, consider a controversy that briefly flared up during the second Bush administration. In 2002, a federal appeals court ruled that the inclusion of the words under God in a public school's daily recitation of the Pledge of Allegiance violates the Constitution. That decision triggered a massive backlash among members of Congress, including a bipartisan proposal to amend the Constitution to permit a reference to God in the Pledge of Allegiance or on United States currency.
Yeah.
Wanting to amend the Constitution to permit that is just so crazy.
Yeah, they've been trying to get rid of it, but they have
Mhm.
never been successful ever.
Yeah.
Yep.
So this controversy died down after the Supreme Court ruled in Elk Grove Unified School District versus Nudo, 2004,
Mhm.
that the appeals court never had jurisdiction to issue its decision in the first place. But the whole incident stands as a warning to Americans who want to drive symbolic references to religion out of government altogether. While there may be plausible legal arguments for this position, law is ultimately subordinate to politics, and those politics favor religion, especially Christianity.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
That's that.
Oh, that's
Wow.
I feel like they were just getting into it, but
I
Mhm.
know. That is wild to me.
Mhm.
Um, I don't think, like, I'm just Googling, does Canada have something
mm-hmm.
similar to the pledge? We don't, though.
No.
I can't think of anything. Apparently, there is an oath of allegiance.
I mean, you guys aren't made to recite it before the school day every
Yeah,
single
I've
day as
never heard of
children.
it.
It's crazy. Now that we say it like out loud, that's some real indoctrination shit right there.
Yeah, and like I never really thought about how it might be seen as weird until I
Yeah.
watched Starship Troopers. Have you seen that movie?
Yeah.
No.
I'm doing my part. Yeah.
I was like, wait a second.
Yeah. There's a reason why that movie is a brilliant satire. I think
Yeah.
I think it really resonates with especially Americans. Like it's definitely a satire of like the American industrial military complex and all that. It's great.
Yeah.
If you guys can stomach like violence because it's very violent, I recommend the movie.
Big bugs.
Yeah,
Mm.
it's not pretty though. So if you don't have a stomach for that, don't watch it. But yeah. Yeah, it's weird. Lily is like the cult of the US high school, but like when we were in it, it never even occurred. Did I roll my eyes at the under God sometimes as a teenager because I was agnostic at the time? Yeah, but like it was whatever. I didn't think of it as so culty, but it is. I mean, the Canadian in this stream is horrified.
Yeah, it's baffling.
What I always wanted to do but couldn't because, well, I'm not sure if all public schools did, but I've seen it on TV. They have the presidential fitness test. Do you have that?
Oh no, that came about like after my time.
Okay. Yeah, I
Yeah, I think that
really
was in the
wanted to
Michelle Obama
climb the
era,
rope.
right? Yeah, I feel like that was a Michelle Obama initiative, I feel like.
Really? Oh, no,
Was
I
it?
feel like I
Or
saw
was
it
it
in older
Clinton?
movies or, like,
Oh,
something.
maybe. Perhaps. I could
Yeah.
never climb that damn rope anyway.
Yeah, our school, we didn't even have a rope to climb. It was so sad.
Stinky asks if we like nonfiction. I would say yes. I like nonfiction.
I feel like with nonfiction, I usually, consume that content when I'm recommended just some random documentary on YouTube, and then I said, "Oh, what's this?" And then I go into
Yeah.
a, you know, in-depth evening of learning
You
about some random thing.
you fall down the rabbit hole.
Yeah, I
I'm
do.
very familiar with falling down
Especially
rabbit
those
holes.
DW documentaries.
Yeah.
I think I consume mostly nonfiction,
Ooh.
documentaries for sure, and I read a lot of memoirs or
Ooh.
biographies.
Mm.
So yeah, mostly nonfiction, or like feminist lit. I read a lot of feminist
Yeah.
lit, like Jeffries and Dworkin and
Oh,
etc.
Stinky recommends a book called Biased by Jennifer L. Eberhardt. Eberhardt.
Oh, very good. I'll have to look into that.
I like reading things like that, like about implicit biases and
Hmm. Like
psychological
what's
stuff.
that one? Invisible Women.
Yeah. Yeah.
That book is so good.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Shall we go to our part 2 here?
Yeah, let's go to our part 2. Let's segue.
Yes, the boys in our liberal school are different now that Trump has won. It's from an anonymous submitter to The Guardian.
Mm.
So will this be? Well, I guess Trump, but isn't Guardian a British paper?
Yeah,
Mm. I think
yes, primarily they theguardian.com. Yeah,
no.
Oh, it's .com. Okay, no.
.com is not. But yeah, The Guardian, I know what you're thinking of,
Okay.
is
Yeah,
there's
there's
The
the
Guardian UK.
Guardian.uk. I always thought that they had both American and the UK versions of the Guardian.
Mhm.
I don't know how it must be the same parent company, right?
Has to be, yeah. Yeah,
Probably.
yeah.
Yeah. I don't know where it originated.
Me neither. So subtle high fives were exchanged and remarks about the impending success of the next 4 years were whispered around. So this was from a week after Election Day last year. Uh, when we walked into school on the morning of November 6th, this is definitely British because only,
6
only British
November.
people would
November? You've
only
been
British
outed.
people would do that.
Yeah,
Get
they
out of
would.
here.
Um,
Yeah.
maybe reformatted for a British audience.
But this is the .com site. Huh. Okay. Or it could the anonymous person writing could be British and maybe they didn't change it. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. Anyway, we exchanged quick glances at the other girls in our social circle, looks filled with uncertainty and dread about the future. Because we are applying to colleges all around the country and about to leave our homes in the Hudson Valley, political issues suddenly have begun to feel a lot more personal. Access to abortion and contraception, protection of the environment, and the growing hate and violence toward marginalized groups all have the potential to greatly impact our lives. We had only brief conversations about why Trump's victory felt so defeating, but our shared disappointment stuck with us as we walked to our first period classes. But as we sat down at our desks, we noticed a very different attitude among our male peers. Subtle high fives were exchanged, and remarks about the impending success of the next 4 years were whispered around. It didn't make much sense. We live in a mostly liberal town in the Hudson Valley where Harris Waltz signs were posted outside of most of our friends' houses. This is not to say that families with dissenting opinions don't live in our town, but the boys that were the most vocal in their enthusiasm about the election results have progressive parents just like ours.
It's because they're getting radicalized online. It has nothing to do
Yeah.
with their family.
Yeah, and Gen Z men are like significantly more conservative than the
Yeah.
generations prior to
Yeah.
them, like
Because
the millennial men or even Gen X men.
Yeah.
because they're gravitating towards the you, white boy, are special and
Yeah,
superior just by nature of your birth. And
yeah.
Yeah,
people
and
like
it's
to
all
come on
the
to that.
online echo chambers telling them that, you
Hmm.
know.
The
And
tape
they
bros,
yeah, the tape bros, the incels and all that stuff, yeah.
the manosphere.
The manosphere.
Yep. As these startling observations made us look back on the last couple of years, we started to realize that maybe this wasn't as unexpected as we thought. An increased interest in pursuing the ideal masculine appearance by going to the gym and the creation of new male dominated social activities like the infamous exclusive poker nights had seemed innocent and had been easy to write off as typical boyhood behavior. But now, all that seemed as if it was just the beginning of a new wave of male conservatism that was infiltrating our school. Obsession with achieving a more muscular body through excessive exercise, and intense dieting fueled by ridiculous social media campaigns fell far outside the realm of healthy self care. And the desire to socialize only with other boys stood in stark contrast to the co ed activities we were accustomed to since childhood.
Yeah.
Ooh. Stinky says this happened in my town. A bunch of high school boys in a town that would call itself diverse going around telling young girls, your body, my choice.
I saw that online
Yeah,
and a lot of girls were saying that the boys in their school were going around saying that to them.
yeah,
And
I've
some
heard that.
teachers were saying that too.
Oh my God.
Well, not the teachers weren't saying it, but they were
But teachers were
reporting.
reporting. Yeah, yeah, yes.
Yeah.
It hadn't taken long for this focus on machismo to creep into these boys' mindsets and conversations. Seemingly harmless, disrespectful comments. Harmless? Disrespectful?
That no.
Harmless
Oxymoron.
disrespect.
Oxymoron.
Yeah. So I think a lot of girls are gaslit by
Mhm.
older family members or other people like,
Oh, it's
oh,
just boys being boys.
but he actually likes you.
Mhm.
Or like, oh, it's just a joke or whatever. Like, you know when you're being disrespected. And I think a
Uh-huh.
lot of girls know when a boy is a sexist piece of garbage, but
Mhm.
they get told that it's no big deal, that, oh, can't you take a joke? Like, why do you have to be so uptight? All that stuff. I mean, I've
Oh, he's
experienced all my life.
harmless.
Yeah, he's hard. He's a nice boy. You
Yeah.
know, why don't you give him a chance? Why don't you ask him to prom?
Yeah.
This shit's been going on since I was a kid,
Yeah, of
Yeah.
course.
and I'm old. So
And in terms of the single sex activities, I was just talking to someone the other day. We were talking about the, sorority rush dance videos on
Mhm.
Instagram or whatever. They were saying, "Oh yeah, at least these, young women, they get together, do something creative, make a dance, whatever." But then we're thinking, what do the boys do, if anything? Then I said, I feel like when boys get together for too long, it ends up being something that ends up falling back on the girls because whatever they
yeah,
decide
Yeah.
amongst themselves is destructive to the girls in their immediate area. Or
Mhm.
if you want to talk about adult men, for a long time it was only adult men in the government or lots of other decision making bodies.
Mhm.
Women, completely separate, mind their own business. In some other room, men are making all these decisions that will severely impact them.
Yeah.
So that's what I tend to notice with these different single sex social dynamics.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, so seemingly harmless, disrespectful comments, brand new sentence, with witty undertones toward girls became commonplace, and feelings of traditional male dominance started to sneak back into our friend groups. Upon reflection, we both recall speaking about stereotypically masculine interests or topics, and then hearing snickering exchanges between the boys in the room, followed by targeted, belittling retorts disguised as trivial jokes. Mhm.
yeah,
It genuinely felt as though they viewed us as unintelligent or even inferior.
they do.
They
Breaking
do.
news.
During
Yeah,
science lab, our male lab partners read the directions aloud to us, and we had to remind them that we could actually read.
yeah. You're not. Yeah, I want to say to the person who wrote this sounds young,
Mm-hmm.
so I want to say like you
Yeah,
were
high
right.
school.
Yeah, you were right. They do think that it was actually disrespectful. You guys were right the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What we saw now was that all this was the result of an obsession, perhaps somewhat subconscious, with preserving an idea of traditional masculinity that both Biden and Harris threatened in different ways. As an ugh,
Yeah.
Well,
this just drives me crazy. Like what traditional masculinity is being threatened by a
yeah.
left-wing politician? Like no one is stopping any man. Well, and frankly, none of these dudes that like talk about traditional masculinity even want to be or are close to being a traditional man.
No,
They
they're
all
not.
want trad wives who stay at home and cook and clean and raise kids, but they don't want to have to provide exclusively. Like
Yeah. No, nowadays they want the provider trad wife. She has to still have a job, but she
right.
has to also
Also
be the trad
do
wife.
right, and he should just
Yes.
be the man who does nothing. Like,
Yeah.
none of them ugh. What traditional masculinity is not being preserved? What are these fucking crazy people talking
Yeah,
about?
do you think these boys will give up their porn and their video games and like their cushy 21st century lives to go back to the quote traditional masculinity of the mid-century? I don't think
Right. Are
so.
they gonna go, like, work in a factory like it was in the
No.
50s where you could support a family on one wage? Like,
Are
no,
they
of
gonna
course they're
assemble
not.
their own like Sears Craftsman house for their family? Like, no, they're not gonna do that.
Okay. There's still,
Not,
you're
not,
earning for the mines of Minecraft.
yeah, they could build a Minecraft house.
Right?
Maybe. Like,
Or like, hey, I hear army recruitment's down.
Yeah,
Yeah,
do
all
they
these traditional
right.
men, none of them are going to the army doing
No, and
traditionally.
the army's telling us all that the new generation is like fat and lazy. Like,
Yeah.
sorry to be mean, but like that's what they say. They're like these guys, like all they do is like sit around and eat hot pockets and play video games. Like they're
Mhm.
not that I want a return to traditional masculinity,
Of
but it's like
course.
you don't they don't embody any of the ideals that they're foisting upon the girls of their
No.
generation at all. It's just
Mm.
entitlement. Like they want house elves basically.
Mhm.
They want a servant. They don't want a partner.
Yeah, they want a household
Yeah.
sex servant.
Yeah, it's called like a what they want the wife appliance. They want the bang
Exactly.
maid. They want
Yep.
yeah.
Oh my
Which is
god.
why they are causing their own male loneliness epidemic.
I
Because
know.
look at the paragraph before where these boys were treating these girls terribly, like even at lab, like in lab class or whatever, science class. It's like, why would any of these girls want to like, be their girlfriend or date them or go to prom with them or whatever if they treat them
Yeah.
like that?
Yep.
Yeah, actually, I heard about something similar happening at my old school. So the two schools were single sex for like literally like 150 or 200 years. um, but then a couple years after I graduated, they made the high school co-ed. So they just combined the schools. And my parents were actually called in because they had both been on the board of the boys and girls school respectively at some point in time. They say, yeah, now that the boys and girls are together, we've noticed like
Huh.
I think the boys' school like started some sort of young Republicans club, but they weren't letting girls join. But it turned into like a whole thing of just the boys constantly belittling people from the girls' school. And since they had been separate most of the time before that, I think there was a really big cultural shift when they did the combination, which unfortunately has probably led to a decrease in confidence and conviction on the girls' side. But
Yeah.
it's been 10 years
No,
now, so I bet it's normal.
you you talk about your experiences too, but like my experiences in high school back in the 90s was not even close to any of that. Like, did you have your occasional asshole guy? Yeah, you
Mhm.
did. But
Mhm.
like I had co-ed friends like my entire school career, whatever. Like
Yeah,
it was
so did
never
I.
yeah, it was never weird to like hang out with my dude friend and my girlfriend and didn't matter, like we
Mhm.
were all fine hanging out. There was none of this like condescension. Nobody read things aloud to us. Like there's no snickering between the boys at the girls. Like
Mhm.
I, it's so different.
Yeah, it was different. Like there was certainly misogyny, but it was in a different
Yeah,
way
it
and
was
not
different.
necessarily really from your peers.
No.
Mhm.
Shit. Most of the misogyny I encountered was from when I was in high school was from older men, like men in
Mm.
my own family, or older.
Definitely when I was in junior high and high school, like there was definitely bra snapping was definitely a thing,
Yes.
and that
Huh?
sucked.
Yeah, there was that. Like I said, there were the occasional asshole boys for sure.
Mhm.
But and if a boy wanted to date a girl, like he would be nice to her.
Mhm.
Like there wasn't this like you will serve me and I will treat you as disrespectfully as I want to and you were put
No,
on this earth
definitely.
to please me. Like it wasn't like that. Like you weren't going to prom with the boy who snapped your bra, really. Like that they were just being assholes. And it
Mhm.
wasn't, at least in my experience, it wasn't like a constant drum beat every single day of like girls are inferior, you don't know anything, boys are better. Like maybe in elementary school where they would be like, oh, boys rule, girls drool. But
Right.
yeah, but by the time everybody got to high school, it was like, okay, I mean, yeah, there were always in I'm not saying that it didn't exist. It always exists. Misogyny always exists,
Mhm.
but like the intensity, there
Yeah.
was not you
Mhm.
didn't feel the intensity every day.
Hmm.
There was never a group of boys celebrating the potential downfall of women's rights.
No,
Absolutely not.
no, they're really well, and people might be like, well, maybe you're looking back nostalgically, but I can honestly tell you that, like, no, there might be
No,
like one or two boys that to be assholes, they'd be like, oh, women, blah, blah, blah,
right.
making woman jokes or
If
whatever.
anything, I feel like it would be the opposite of looking back nostalgically. Like,
Yeah.
at the time, I might have brushed something off, but now with my radical feminist lens looking back, I might have been like, oh wow, that was actually really fucked up.
Yeah.
But it was not really, like,
No.
aside from the
Yeah.
odd thing.
You're right, because that lens helps me interpret a lot of the comments older male relatives said to me at the time. Like looking back, I can be like, oh, my uncle was actually kind of a sexist piece of shit, This, some of the things my dad said to me. It's like, oh, because I'm a girl, that's why he said that to me. But I didn't really get that in my friend group, like, or even the peripheral people that we'd hang out with. Like, it just never was like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that alpha male bullshit did not exist back in the 90s.
Gabriel was asking, what's the demographics at your high school? I lived in a city where the population was extremely white. These days, it's much more diverse, but back in high school, when I was in high school in the early 2000s, extremely white. It was primarily all white with um, some indigenous kids, some Asian kids. Asian, I mean Chinese and Japanese. And that's it. Um, where I live, there was not any sort of a significant Latino population. There really still isn't. And actually, I went to high school in a population of about 800 kids in my high school, and there were 3 Black students. And they
Wow.
were all from the
Yeah.
same family. They were all siblings.
Oh no.
Yeah.
No, expired milk, based on where I lived, I did not meet a Black person in real life until I was 14 years old.
Yeah.
Wow. That's wild.
It's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy. Um, it's
Yeah.
the city's much more diverse now because we have had a significant population of Nepali, Bangladeshi, and
Mm.
Sudanese refugees. Um, but at the time, it was white.
White. Yes, my demographics were also white and suburban. We had a few kids of color, like Black kids or Asian kids or whatever, but majority was white. I did know a little Black girl that I used to play with when I was little. We lived on the same street. I'd even go over to her house sometimes. I wish I could remember her name. I was like 7. I don't remember. And then we moved away. So I'm sorry, my friend,
Mhm.
but I don't remember you. I don't remember your name. But we used to play on her front porch all the time and run the streets back
Mhm.
in the 80s. But
Yeah.
it
I
was
lived
like
outside as a kid.
yeah, me too. But it was still pretty rare to see like, and I was friends with a Hong Kong exchange student in high school.
Cool.
Um, yeah, and then she went back to Hong Kong. She had the prettiest handwriting I've ever seen, like the best handwriting I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, Lily.
You were the
My
one Asian kid.
kid. Oh.
Yeah.
My friend group in high school, despite that the population of the school was very white, my friend group was very mixed. There was me and my 2 best friends who one was white, one was Filipina, and then in our friend group there were a Chinese gal, another Filipina gal, a Japanese girl. So I think there was 3 white girls and 4 Asians in our friend group. So my specific friend group was fairly diverse, but the school at large was not.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah,
have to
my
say.
yeah, my school was definitely mostly white, but it was in a city that was really diverse, but the school population was mostly upper middle class and straight up
Mm.
upper class families. Like we had kids of politicians and CEOs and all that sort of thing.
Right.
So it was a bit XOXO Gossip Girl.
Yeah. You know, it's funny you say that, and like your story about the boys that you had to deal with. Like in my school, like the asshole boys were actually most likely to be like the ones from the better families, you know, like the
Mm.
more
Oh, yeah, so
yeah.
same. So same.
Yeah. Like they weren't it wasn't the poor kid who had to ride the bus and like was in like tattered clothes or whatever, or a baseball cap that he wore every day. It wasn't that kid doing that. It was like the rich family that had lived there like for a generation or two, and they were like in the city politics.
Mm.
Their asshole son would go around being an asshole. So,
For us, the wealthy kids came from agriculture families,
mm,
um, rich farm kids, and they
yeah.
were big time
Yeah,
assholes.
nobody talks about how rich farm people exist.
Oh, yeah.
It's
People
true
think, like,
though.
farmers are, like, these rural, poor no, no, no. These
Salt
people
of
live
the earth.
in
No.
multi-million dollar sprawling
Mhm.
9,000 square foot mansions. Like,
Yeah.
no, they are
Yeah,
wealthy as
I
fuck.
just encountered that population when I was out in where was I? Like Montana or
Mhm,
Wyoming or somewhere
mhm.
out there. I was talking to someone like, "Oh yeah, most of the kids coming to this show, they're just rich ranch kids." I said, "Huh?" It's like, "Oh yeah, don't you know the ranch kids here are loaded?"
Oh, yes. The ranch family kids were the wealthiest by, like,
Yeah.
by far. Oh my god, actually, when I was in high school, oh my god, this is the craziest thing. There was one gal who came from one of those families, and for her 16th birthday, she pulled up to school in a red I don't know cars. It was a convertible though.
Oh boy.
And that was on Friday, and that weekend she totaled the car, and on
Whoa.
Monday, she showed up at school in a black one.
Oh my
On
god.
brand.
Wow.
Yeah, there was a girl on
Imagine.
my lacrosse team. She would always not like her phone. And there was one time when she was mad because her parents weren't getting her a new phone when all the other times they would just buy it for her. So we were on our way to a lacrosse game and she just chucks it out the bus window.
Holy
Oh my
shit.
god. Like,
And
that's
then the next day
crazy.
she had a new phone.
Imagine having that kind of
My
money.
parents would have been
Jesus.
like, "Well,
Yeah.
sucks to suck, I guess."
Yeah, mine too. They would have been extremely angry, and then they would never have bought me a replacement.
Mhm. Absolutely same.
And
Uh,
they probably would have taken me to the doctor because that's very out of character behavior.
yes. Oh, that is wild.
Yeah.
Alright, let's hear about these dumb boys. So preserving traditional masculinity. As an older, frail individual, Biden was an easy target for Trump's aggression. While Trump's comments seemed like an attack on Biden's age and mental competence, they also incorporated indirect attacks on his masculinity that influenced this impressionable demographic of young men. And when contrasted with Trump's pumping fist after the assassination attempt in July, Biden was appearing weaker and weaker while Trump was solidifying his representation of traditional male heroism. Similarly, when Kamala Harris replaced Biden as Trump's opponent, his goal of making his adversary seem weak was much more straightforward, exasperated further by Harris's prioritization of women's rights in her campaign. Still, because our town is considered such a progressive bubble, we never thought the tone of the election was connected to the changes we were observing in our male peers. But Trump's calculated direct focus on young boys was strong enough to win them over. While these are just observations within our own high school, we believe that this is happening across the country. Young, well off white boys from liberal families are being tempted by conservatism simply to protect an archaic idea of masculinity that guarantees them inherent power. It is
Yeah.
not.
Sorry, like remember how in another stream I was ranting a bit about how a lot of these boys that want to go back to this ideal, like they even their own fathers didn't live.
Mhm.
And like if their fathers are like young boomers or Gen X like me,
Yeah.
like we weren't doing this 1940s style, most of our moms worked,
Yeah.
like most of Gen X works, and it was definitely more like this. What they're thinking about, they don't have any direct experience with whatsoever. It's all fabrication.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. It is not as if they are against abortion or care much about the economy or immigration or even feel remotely attracted to the rest of conservative dogma, but clearly a shift back toward traditional gender roles is resonating with them as progressive toward female empowerment threatens progression, Jesus. Toward female empowerment threatens their already delicate self-esteem.
Yeah, I've noticed a lot of these guys, they're abortion. Like now, all these guys are coming out on the internet being like pro-life
Mhm.
and talking, but they want it under their control.
Yeah.
Mhm.
They're not pro-life. They're not pro anything. Or
Anything.
Mm.
right. If they want her to have one, she will have one. But if they want to have her to have the baby so they can control her, they want her to do that. Like
Mhm.
it's not about ideology or even religion. It's about it being in their hands.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
when I was growing up, most boys were like, uh, you want me to like pay you half the money so you can go get it? Like it
Mm.
wasn't even religious men, if they didn't want to they were like, yeah, let's take care of this problem. Like it wasn't. But now that they're not being able to control women as much, like financially or dominating them through, because women are outstripping them in college. They're getting better paying jobs. It's all over the place now. So now they want that. They want the control.
Right.
So now they're all like, "Oh, how dare you kill life, and women need to go back and like birth children and be housewives." And but it's not because they actually want kids or believe in any pro-life arguments.
Right.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. Ugh.
Hmm.
So, how do we address this going forward? How do we ensure that young boys practice critical thinking instead of falling victim to Trump's rhetoric with its focus on recommitting to gender stereotypes that we believed had finally been eradicated? Parents, we urge you to be aware of this growing phenomenon and teach your children about the dangers of calculated political movements designed to further one politician's agenda. Until we do so, it is likely this pattern will continue. Boys in our school as young as 8 are beginning to exhibit these same misogynistic tendencies that we never remember noticing when we were their age. And the most dangerous aspect of this is how little it's talked about in mainstream media and how easily it has been overlooked in progressive communities. In fact, there is an epidemic that will continue to spread rapidly until we start talking about it. So look closely, because those boys will be among the voters responsible for deciding our future elections.
Yeah,
Yeah, crazy.
this has one cause, I
Uh-huh.
think, and it's the fact that women aren't seen as fully human people.
Mhm.
And the fact that boys are even nowadays, are so easily seduced into this is because I think even in quote unquote progressive families,
Mhm.
there's still this undercurrent that mom isn't quite as important
Oh
as
yeah.
dad. Like who's the one that usually gives up her career or does everything for everybody without so much as a thank you?
Mhm.
It's mom, right? And then you've got porn is everywhere. It's just showing boys that that's all women are good for, to be
Ugh.
used by men. So like it unless society starts seeing girls and women as fully people just as much as boys are, I don't think this is going to go away. No amount of like sitting down with like a female psychologist,
Right.
sitting a
Yeah.
boy down with her, he already doesn't see her as fully human. She's a woman.
Yeah, when at the end there they said like talk to your sons or whatever. It's like I really don't think
No,
any amount is going to change
right.
because
Yeah.
again, like we talk about socialization all the time in a radical
Hmm.
feminist lens that like the parents are not the only people influencing children. Um it doesn't really matter how much
No.
you talk to your sons, like they're influenced by society at large.
Yeah, and it's a do what I say, not as I do thing, right? So
Mhm.
even if a boy has a dad, right, who
Mhm.
sits him down and is like, you need to respect your mother and your sisters, and this can't fly. But if they live in a family unit where dad always has the final say, and where his career is more important and he makes all the major decisions, and mom still does everything for everybody, the sisters get house chores and the son doesn't.
Mhm.
I mean, that's a lot of like regular normal families, and people don't think about this kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it's like it's showing the boy without coming, nobody comes out and
Yeah, no
says,
one's saying anything.
no, they don't say like you're superior because you're a boy, but all the actions they've taken their whole lives that in the family shows them
Mhm.
that they are, or they get their behavior excused. With boys will be boys, where their sisters might be punished more harshly. Like all this stuff adds up, so by the time these boys are seeing this stuff on the internet, their lives are showing them that it's correct, right?
Mhm.
Mhm.
No matter what their dad says, their dad doesn't really respect their mom, right?
Yep.
Like,
Yeah. I think it's the undercurrent. Well, this undercurrent has always been consistent, but I think it was Slacker who was kind of contemplating, well, why now out of all times? Why is this happening now? I do think it's because, I mean, the ERA was never signed or passed in the US, but let's just say ever since, I don't know, 1975-ish, women basically had all the same rights as men in
Mhm.
the United States. Like that's when we could open up bank accounts,
Mhm.
and birth control was really widely available and not exactly new anymore, I think.
I push that up to the
So
90s because that's when marital rape finally got
Yeah.
made
yeah,
illegal across all states. But yes, I know what
right.
you're saying.
Mhm.
Yeah, so it's like now we're kind of roughly one full generation into that. And what do you know? Because of that, women have had the chance to catch up. It's not the boys saying, oh, well, I guess we'll let you
Mhm.
participate in this thing. Now it's like, we are getting into the colleges. We are getting the jobs. We can
Mhm.
build a lives for ourselves without you. And in that environment, all these dudes have just like lost purpose.
Right,
Which
Yeah.
like
yeah.
without like because men don't really have by and large like rich social lives, friendships,
Mhm.
connections, hobbies, etc. And if women aren't marrying them, well like now what?
Mhm.
Right. And Tori in the chat makes a great point that I totally 100%
Yes.
agree with. You can only go down a pipeline if you even marginally agree with whatever rhetoric it is. Yes, because my entire life, every time I've read something red pilled or manosphere-ish, I get disgust.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Like, or anything like racist. Like I read, you're on the internet, it pops up, sometimes, and you're like, this person's an asshole. This person's a racist. Like, unless you have that mindset, you're not going to read such stuff and think like, they have a point. It's
Mhm.
good. It's only reinforcing what you already think. So it's a negative feedback loop. I think a lot of people in the media discussing this issue think that these boys were completely like blank slates, right? And then they just happened upon manosphere content, and it turned like sweet boys who respected their mothers and women into these alt-right guys. But these boys had the kernel of this within themselves already, and I think that we need
Mm.
to ask ourselves why. And I think the answer lies in how we we treat women without, we may not say it, but it's how everyday life treats women, how women are thought of. And somebody else in the chat made a good point too. It was Stinky. Mom is associated with sacrifice, and so men think women exist to make their lives easier at the expense of their own.
Mhm.
How
Mhm.
many family units in America is this true in? A lot, a ton.
A ton.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Ugh. Um Yeah, a lot of men won't even listen to female music artists or read books by female authors
Yeah, that's why J.K. Rowling had to put herself as J.K. on her
instead of
books.
Joanne.
Mhm.
Right.
Yep, that's crazy.
And I think she's talked about the reason she made Harry a boy. It wasn't Harriet
Because
Potter,
both
it's Harry.
boys and girls would read it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gabriel says, can this be somewhere resolved by a hobby? I guess what I mean is if you focus your energy on perfecting a craft, maybe that improves your self esteem.
Mm. I mean, a lot of these boys' hobbies are video games and gooning
Podcasts.
and
Mhm.
podcasts. I mean, I'm just keeping
I
it
know.
a
You're
buck
right,
with you, like,
unfortunately.
and
I
it's
usually say that even, the concept of brotherhood, the core of brotherhood is the subjugation of women. They bond
Mm,
over that.
it
yeah, it's
seems like anytime men get together online, eventually that group will turn to subjugating women. I
yeah.
mean, look at what's happened in some of the subreddits they put on Reddit. Well-meaning to be a place for men to gather without misogyny, and eventually it might
Hmm.
take a month or two. The incels start trickling in, and all of a sudden, the subreddit is now another incel subreddit.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It just seems to happen, and I'm not like I'm a gamer too. Like obviously, it's in my tag, right? It's in my handle, but like that can't be your only hobby. Like as a kid, right?
Yeah.
Right now I'm thinking of, well, I posted it, I sent this to you the other day. I guess now there's some trend amongst some brand of travel influencers. It's all these dudes
Oh
going to
yeah,
like Afghanistan
yeah.
and
Didn't
saying,
somebody
yeah,
linked that in our chat? I think.
Yeah, it was
yeah,
Existential Gamer.
Oh,
yeah,
I
no,
mean, it was Expired Milk. Sorry.
oh
yeah,
yeah,
it
yeah. It was
popped
yeah,
up.
it was you.
Yeah, because I ignored it the first time it popped up, but I guess because of computer science, I kept getting more after I paused on the first one. I said, "Wait, is this like an actual thing?" Um, so when we were talking about can't boys just get a hobby? I said, "Yeah, they should get a hobby like travel." Oh wait, here we
Yeah,
are again.
yeah. And I think I made a comment like that because the guy was being interviewed by the woman reporter, right? When she was asking him
Yeah,
why he
CNN or
was
something.
there, and yeah, what he was doing, what was his goal in coming to Afghanistan, and did he notice all the women's rights violations happening? And you could tell this kid was real smug. Like he was, you knew 100% he knows exactly what's going on. He's pretending to be dumb and not really noticing. Oh, I didn't really notice, but no, he noticed. And I think that's part of the draw for a lot of these guys. They want to go to a place where they can feel that they are the man.
Hmm.
Mhm. Yeah, it was like Western influencers collaborating with the Taliban was not on my bingo card
Right.
for this year.
Right. Seriously.
Fucking crazy.
Yeah, it's like a kind of an offshoot of the passport bros thing. They probably go for to be like sex pats or whatever, but these influencers are just like trying to put forth the veneer of, oh, I'm just traveling. I'm a cultural guy. I just want to see some culture. It's really nice here. And yeah.
Mhm.
Gross.
Yeah, but I know whenever. So my dad is he loves just scrolling through YouTube only on the television because he seems to not understand that YouTube also exists on the computer. And if you do on the computer, you cannot like interrupt the rest of the house's entertainment time by like clicking on the TV. Anyway, um, I guess he's got into the algorithm of where are all the boys? They're not going to college. Women aren't getting higher paying jobs. Feminism has gone too far or whatever.
Oh boy.
And so sometimes when he's talking about, oh yeah, I wish boys would stop getting arrested or whatever, and then I'll say something like vaguely feminist, and he'll be like, well, men aren't that bad because like men are the ones who gave you rights.
Oh,
Yeah, I've
I've
heard
heard
I
that
that
said,
before.
before.
oh.
Yeah. Like they magnanimously allow us to have rights.
Yeah.
No, women
Correct.
actually died for our
Mhm.
rights and went to jail and got force fed and tortured and all that good
Mhm.
stuff.
They
So,
say, no, this dude just decided one day, you know what?
I think
Sally's
I'm
all
just gonna,
right.
yeah, I'm gonna be a real chap and give her her rights. You've earned it, Sally.
Mhm.
Yuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tori, I have to agree with you. I think like there's a lot of lack of outside activities these days. We don't have any real wars going on. Like no glorious battles for them to fight. They're like a bunch of fucking Klingons. I
Go to
swear.
war.
Yeah.
They
That's what
need
they
to like
want. They want a civil war so bad. They want World War III so bad. They
Yeah,
just
they
want
all think that they're gonna be
yes.
like the freaking hero.
They-
Ugh,
yeah, they want to like be in glorious battle and yeah,
stupid.
they long for the mines. Yes.
yeah. And I think even a talking point amongst them is how apparently education is, quote, feminized,
It's so
unquote,
stupid.
because you have to sit in a chair and learn math.
It's so
Like,
dumb because our educational system to this day is still a vestige of the way it was back in the 1800s. You got the
yeah.
classroom, you got the rote learning, you got the instructor, and you listen to lectures. It's not Socratic. Like that's more of a progressive school kind of thing, right? Like the Socratic method, and
Mm,
more collaborative. Traditional schooling is the same as it has been for all this time. And back in those days, you had like male headmasters and male teachers, and they would take the switch to boys, and boys were expected to sit and practice their lines and listen to the teacher. um
Yep. And they
so
didn't say, "Why are you emasculating me?"
no, no. So and it really has not changed that much. Yeah, there's some like you know huggy type of initiatives in modern schools where they, obviously they don't do corporal punishment anymore. That's good. I'm not
mhm,
saying you should take the switch to the kids, but it's like all the other stuff, like the classroom environment, the teacher, the memorizing and the testing, like that's all been there. Even
Mhm.
when girls were not thought of, like the most girls would ever do is go to college to get their MRS degree, right? Like they to find a husband,
yeah.
you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, and I don't think it's an
Yeah.
accident that, like, obviously, like, there's more pathways into adulthood than going to college, but I do find it interesting how it's only once women started being more
Mhm.
successful in college than men. Now it's
Mhm.
college is useless. College is just liberal propaganda. College,
Yeah.
blah blah blah. Do away with it.
Well, I think part of that is happening these days too because of capitalism,
Mm.
which is beating everybody down. It is true that a college degree is not as lucrative as it once was because everyone is getting it. All the jobs are demanding it, whether the job itself should require a bachelor's degree or not.
Yep.
Some jobs list master's degree, and you read the job description and you're like, you don't need a master's to do this job.
Master's degree will only pay 35K a year.
Right. Yeah, that's the other thing too. Like they want 5 years experience at least. They want a master's degree, starting salary, $42,000. Like, are you fucking kidding me? No. So there's that part of it, but that's hitting everyone. But
Yeah.
then men always have the trades to go into. But
Mhm.
because of capitalism, I think the trades are less lucrative these days than they used to be. Uh, because everything is less lucrative nowadays. The cost of living's
Mhm.
gone up. The wages have not gone up even in all jobs. So, but they still do have that option, which that always floors me that men would be like, oh, getting your master. I still don't think getting your master's is useless. I still think it's, you're going to make more money in the end as opposed to if you just had a high school diploma.
Mhm.
But the men always have the trades to go into. Women are not welcome in the trades.
Yeah.
Women
Mm.
do go into them and they do
I have
trailblaze.
a nightmare experience.
Uh, Yeah, you should share it because so many women, if you go on Reddit, go on the women in tech
Yep.
subreddit, women in tech, and this is not trades. This is like tech, and they still get treated like absolute fucking garbage. So, please share.
Oh no, I said they have a nightmare experience.
Oh, I thought you said
Yeah.
you did. Oh,
No,
sorry,
women do when they
misunderstood.
go into.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
get harassed.
Yep.
They basically get hazed out of the job.
Yep.
Uh,
Yeah, even I had a hard time in technical theater, which is certainly not a trade, but but you do get some people from like electrical trade schools that end up going into theater production, and they're just like, yeah, you're not supposed to be here. If you're here, you need to be doing wardrobe or hair and
right.
Really?
makeup. You can't be
Wow.
doing lighting, you can't be doing audio, carpentry, none of that.
I mean, geez, I'm calling you my own name. Expired milk. Um, Even you've had pushback being a tour manager.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, in some of your stories, like there's definitely, and I bet you it's because you're a young woman, and a lot of these guys don't think you know what you're talking about.
Yep, going through that right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
It's
I'll
awful.
always win them over in the end, but the process is always aggravating.
But
But it shouldn't be.
it shouldn't be, and you shouldn't have to be like the ultimate rock star to
Yeah.
even prove that you are competent. You're obviously competent at your job. You're very competent, but it's like you have to be like the pinnacle of tour manager and finally like convince the old fucker that you know what you're talking about after ordeals of not being listened to
Yep.
is really annoying.
Indeed.
Like it's like that old trope like you see in movies sometimes where somebody is hated uh, by another person, and that hated person has to save the person's life before that person's like, maybe you're not half bad. Like you literally have to pull this guy from the burning wreckage, and then he'll look up at you and he'll be like, you know what? I expire milk. You really do know what you're talking about.
Yep. It's like, wow, she literally just moved mountains, did the
Mhm.
ultimate impossible. Oh, I guess you're all right.
Yeah. And that's isn't that the insult to injury too? It's like at the end, it's like, yeah, I guess you're all right. You're pretty
Yeah.
good. You probably know what you're talking about.
Mhm.
Oh, thanks. I only had to rearrange the constants of the universe to please you, but yeah.
Yeah. No big deal.
No
Oh,
biggie.
yeah. Only had to go into the restricted section of the Toronto airport to retrieve your highly valuable
Yeah,
guitar.
it's fine. Yeah, that's your version of having to pull him from a burning fucking building to get a modicum of respect.
Shout out
Sucks.
Toronto.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Capricorn, the most.
the most. Yeah, it sucks. Ooh, I'm gonna sneeze. I'm gonna mute.
Oh,
Oh boy.
bless you.
Ugh, my nose is like itchy, tickly. Ugh.
Mm,
Which
yeah.
is how we get to the next item on today's stream agenda, which is putting all the males in a rocket ship to Pluto, voting in favor, pass the budget,
Say I.
make it so.
I.
No, no, it should be Mars. That's the god of war. Men need to go to war.
No, Jupiter.
Because they
Boys
get
go
more
to Jupiter
stupider.
to get more stupider.
Yeah, and in Jupiter, if they survive the storms together, they can feel like real men.
Exactly.
Yeah, they can live in communes and little hot air balloons floating around in the gas giant. Be great.
Very good. Very good. Too funny.
This reminds me of an old short story we read in our 5th grade civilizations class
Oh.
called Toolmaker. And I forget the finer details of the plot, but it must have been like not cavemen, but not too far after cavemen either.
Right.
um, I guess there was this tribe, and there was this tool maker guy, and he was like, "I love making tools. I'm a tool maker." You're like, "Oh, good for you." But he liked this girl. However, one of the hunter dudes also liked the girl.
Ooh.
So I
Whoa.
forget how Toolmaker got injured. Maybe he was trying to hunt, then like shot himself, or maybe he tried to fight the hunter guy.
Oh.
But somehow his leg gets broken, and they're like, "Well, sucks for you." And since it was a nomadic tribe, he wakes one day to find the tribe, including the girl, had moved along without him. So the very last page is like a picture of him just alone, fade to black, or he'll just sit there until he gets eaten by something. I said,
Oh
"Oh, is
my
that what dudes want to do? They just want to challenge each other."
Oh my God, that seems like a very veiled, nice guys finish last story.
Yes.
Written by some dweeb of an author who's mad that the girl he liked another guy. So he's like, I'm gonna write a story about Bronze Age hunter gatherers.
Yeah.
And you left my brilliant brain behind, but I'm the one that laughs last because without my tools, you're not gonna progress. Yeah.
You know what? They probably took his tools.
Yeah, but
Left
he had the
Toolmaker
knowledge.
without the
Okay.
tools.
Once those tools break, where are you gonna be? Huh?
Yeah, it's like, "Oh, we should go get that guy." Oh, wait, he got eaten by a lion.
They come back and he's just a skeleton. Oh no. I swear, like that's the
R.I.P.
kind of
Toolmaker.
yeah, but like that's the kind of very subtle propaganda that like we all grew up with, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I should look
Yeah.
up that story.
Yeah. I'm actually really curious now in that yeah, I
Yeah,
want
let
to
me see
know
if I
who
can
the
find
author
it.
is. Who's the author?
Yeah.
The tool maker.
Toolmaker story.
Short story, right?
Jill Patton
Yeah.
Walsh, maybe?
Story.
Yes, I think so. For young Ra to make all the tools needed by his Stone Age tribe is a new idea for all of them. Does that sound right? Yeah, provides Ra with a skill that saves his life when he's abandoned by his tribe for forgetting how to hunt.
Oh, is that what
Oh,
happened?
Is that what it's? Do you think that's what it is?
Yeah, that's
it
probably it.
sounds yeah,
Toolmaker
sounds
by Jill Patton Walsh.
oh, it's by a woman.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Oh boy.
So, yeah.
How does one forget how to hunt?
I don't know. Maybe I have to read it again.
Yeah, I have to revisit it. Yeah.
But it looks like he didn't die. He
Oh, he didn't
saved
die?
himself with his tool-making skills. That's
Oh,
what
there we go. It has a better ending than what I remembered.
he just dies. It just fades to black.
It was probably me in class being like, "Oh wow, they just left him. I guess he'll die now."
The
But
final
no, there
scene
was 3
is
more pages.
the final scene is him gazing up at the sky, yelling, "Why?"
Man yells at cloud.
Yeah, this story.
Hee hee.
Oh my god.
Too funny.
But yes, I remember we would always, whenever we thought a dude was a particular loser, be like, "Oh, look, it's Toolmaker." But the guys had no idea what we were talking about.
That's so funny.
It's a tool maker. We just called people tools, but I like
Mhm.
that.
Yeah, yeah.
It's so crazy to me, expired milk, that you went to school without boys.
Well, they were across the street.
I know, but you didn't have them in school.
Yeah,
I
it was
wish.
nice.
No kidding.
Yeah.
I didn't know what I had until it was gone.
Yeah, for real.
Mhm.
Men are out there in the world.
Yeah, we did
Yeah.
have some combined classes in high school, and I remember
Oh.
because, yeah, 12th grade co-ed English class.
Oh dear.
We were trying to get through The Great Gatsby, but literally dudes would be showing up late. One of them decided to climb in through the window instead of using the door.
Oh boy.
They would do this thing where they kept trying to like lean back in their chairs.
Uh-huh.
without toppling over,
Mhm.
but inevitably every couple days one would completely wipe out, once
Yes.
again disrupting the lesson. So we only made it through the first two chapters of The Great Gatsby, and then we watched the movie.
This teacher just gave up.
Yeah,
Here, watch Leo play The Great Gatsby.
That
yeah.
book was never a part of my school curriculum.
We read it.
Seriously, maybe it's too American.
Yeah, it could
Yeah,
be.
yeah,
It
it's
could
very,
be
very
very
American. We
American.
read it. I remember not liking it. It was a slog to get through, and I don't remember anything about it. But I should probably start reading it now. I probably appreciate it.
Hmm.
That's like one of the things about English classes in high school is they pick a lot of stuff that kids aren't really going to appreciate. I feel like.
Yeah, we read, let me think. I took AP English always. So we read uh To Kill a Mockingbird.
Mm,
We
I
read,
actually love that book.
yeah, me
I've
too.
never read that.
We read the play The Death of a Salesman.
Yeah, we
Oh,
Very
read that
good.
too.
I only read that in grad school, and it traumatized me.
Yeah.
We read a bunch of Shakespeare, of course.
Yep. Catcher in the Rye.
Nope, we
Read
didn't read
that.
that. That was not part of our curriculum.
We only got to that once we had the co-ed 12th grade English
Uh,
class.
I don't remember novels aside from those two. Just remember Shakespeare, Death of a Salesman. Oh, Lord of the Flies, of course. We read
Yep, we read
that.
that. Um, we
Hmm.
read The Hobbit.
No, we didn't.
The
Didn't read The
Hobbit was
Hobbit.
fun.
No, I think we probably went through every Jane Austen novel. Um,
Oh yeah, we read shit. Wuthering Heights, I want to say.
Hmm.
Oh no, that's not. Is that Jane Austen? I don't know.
uh, uh. We read a lot of books. I feel like there was a phase where
That's Emily
we kept
Bronte.
reading books
Ah,
about
thank you.
dolphins or like girls and dolphins, and then girls and horses, and then girls
Oh,
trying to escape their tribe because they didn't want to get married.
the
It was all
girls
that.
and the girls with dolphins. That was the Island of the Blue Dolphins.
Yes, there was Island of the Blue Dolphins, and there was some other dolphin book,
Yeah,
Huh.
Blue something. I don't know.
I think we read that too, and the whole story was this girl was basically her whole family, like her tribe family, whatever, had to leave. Like they had to leave the island for some reason, and she was left behind. And the whole book was just her living like 20 years all by herself. And then at
Oh,
the end, like some people land on the island and some dude finds her, and she really didn't seem very happy that they were there.
she
But then,
dolphin streets at them.
yeah, like I don't for somebody who was alone for 20 years, she just did not seem happy that they were there. And then the book kind of just ends with her going with them because, I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, I know we were assigned it, but I remembered zero details from it.
I could be totally off. That's all I remember, and I maybe it's wrong.
I do remember our entire class was amused by the character of Bertha Mason from, I forget which Jane Austen book that was. It was either the Mr. Rochester book or the Mr. Darcy book. One of them.
I don't think it was Mr. Darcy because I don't think that was one of the Pride and Prejudice
Oh.
characters. Bertha doesn't ring a
Well,
bell.
spoiler alert, she does she burn to death in the attic?
Oh
Maybe
my
it was
god.
Mr. Rochester. He was hiding Bertha Mason in the attic
Oh
away
yeah,
from,
What the hell?
yeah, um I forget, but for whatever reason my class really attached themselves to Bertha Mason, and we all dressed as her for Halloween.
Aw.
We're like, yeah,
oh
Mr. Rochester is obsessed with this girl, but he doesn't want anyone to know about this lady he's been like
oh.
keeping in the
Actually,
attic.
that's from Jane Eyre, and that
Jane,
was also a Charlotte Bronte novel.
Mhm.
that makes
I
sense. Jane
remember
Eyre was quite
Brontes.
grim.
A Bronte sister, I should say.
Oh, how
Mm.
weird. This is off topic, but thanks to Silly Noodle. Hello. You're almost at 5K. I literally just was looking at my YouTube studio 2 minutes ago and I saw that. Um,
Ooh.
I'm like 8 subscribers away from 5,000.
Nice.
OMG.
Wow, that's crazy.
Oh,
My
soon the
little
FBI is
channel.
going to be knocking down your door.
Pretty soon.
Or the Canadian
Pretty
FBI. I don't
soon.
know if you have
Oh
one.
yeah, YouTube took down my video where I was praising Luigi Mangione.
Really?
Yeah.
You got
Oh
like a
no, you're on a list.
strike or what?
I don't know. I just got a notification saying it got taken down for like bad content.
Oh man, I've had a video removed too.
Yeah, it was just like a pop up, and I was like, oh, okay. I just like swiped it away. I'm like, yeah, okay.
I
I
forgot
got a
about
video.
Luigi.
Ugh, he's still fighting the good fight. In
Yeah.
prison with his legal team.
What did you get taken down? Do you remember?
Yep, I made a video a few years ago called "We Must Stop Indulging Delusion," and it was all about how um, gender dysphoria is the only mental illness that we say the treatment is to play along with.
Oh yeah, I think I remember watching that. Yep.
I still have it uploaded, I think, on like Odyssey or something, so it's still there. But yeah, it was all about how, nobody thinks the treatment for schizophrenia is validating that somebody is Napoleon or Jesus. And that would be unkind to do to them. But for some reason, when it comes to
Yep.
gender, we're supposed to play along. And I was just talking about how that should not be the case. Anyway, it got removed for hate speech.
Yeah.
Alas.
Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
looks like a dolphin girl.
Yeah.
Died.
I was just reading that. That's like the Pocahontas thing.
Yeah.
So many, I feel like a lot of women that were, and who even knows if she went willingly, knowing back then, whether they basically took her from that island. But yeah, so many of the women with those kinds of stories, like as soon as they leave where they were at, they just like get sick and die. It's awful.
Hmm.
We also read a book, Catherine Called Birdie, which I remember enjoying the first half of probably because it was one of those books where it's her just plotting how to not get married to this guy. But then I think some cute boy shows up. She's like, okay, I'll marry you though. I said, wait a second, wait. I thought, all right.
Yeah.
How come you two have subtitle names and I just have one name?
Oh, because you can do a
You
subtitle.
can add it.
Oh,
If you go to the
okay.
settings.
If you go to you see the left where your name is, and there's the 3 little dots.
Name, edit name. Oh, and title. I can
Edit
do
name and
And
title.
title.
Yeah, so you can bring up
Oh my
a title,
God.
parentheses optional.
Oh, okay.
Something Star Wars related. And
Now I was just gonna say like foremost.
Why are you calling me out? How do I save it? Can I exit? Got it?
And we can see it.
Yeah,
Oh,
it
it's there already.
Yep.
Hello.
Yay.
I have no inflated sense of ego.
The other day, mine said Ultimate Turf Supreme.
Yeah.
Today,
I'm
hostess
clearly
with
not very
mostest.
observant.
Isn't that fun?
Lily, you can always pick a title when you come back. If you ever come back on stream, you can think of a title for yourself.
Yeah, I always want to bully Lily into coming onto stream, but
I know. Gently bully her into coming
yeah,
back.
she picks her moments.
Yes.
That's okay, I suppose.
It's fine. Go be shy and adorable. It's fine.
Oh, Lily. Yes. Good times. Emperor of the Galaxy. Love it.
Me too.
It's very good.
Yeah.
I got to try to think of clever ones to use.
Pressure is on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'll have to do something because my next stream on Wednesday is going to be with Nena and Rusty. So I'm going to have to think of something funny because they're the funniest.
That's a lot of pressure to
I
be
know.
funny in front of Rusty. Like, you can't win.
No.
She's too funny. You're
I know.
never going to be her level.
I know. Yeah, on Wednesday's stream, Nena, Rusty, and I are going to read, react, and roast the lesbian master doc.
Yeah, oh, yes, finally.
It's gonna
Oh,
be a disaster of hilariousness.
I'm there.
But yeah, like real actual lesbians react to. It's gonna be fun.
That is a long ass document.
Yeah, I was looking at it last night, so like we're not gonna literally go over every single thing, but like,
Yeah.
you know, what is this Capricorn MLA?
Mm,
What
with
does that mean?
hearts.
MLA format?
Oh, is she talking about IMLA?
Oh yes, sorry,
The
IMLA.
Mean Lesbians
International
Association.
Oh.
Except for
forgot the
Nena.
I.
Nena is now in Australia, so it's just 2 different countries now. Because Nena and her wife moved to Australia.
Is Rosina also in Australia?
Yeah, she is, but we
Oh,
used to be in 3 separate
Oh,
countries,
3. Oh, yeah.
and now we're just 2.
The not so international.
Yeah, just 2. The binational.
Binational. Doesn't have that, doesn't Bumla doesn't roll off the tongue as
No.
IMLA did.
Yeah. So, but yeah, her and her wife are getting settled. I think they have found an apartment. Yeah. So that'll be fun.
That's fun. I love looking at apartments in my free time, but I've heard for other people it stresses them out.
Well,
Yeah, well, my
Um,
parents are house hunting right now, so I look at the real estate websites every single day, and I just love looking at all of the different.
I go on Zillow every now and then just to like look.
Yeah, see what's
Yeah,
up.
we don't have
But
Zillow here.
Yeah. Well, there's homes.com too, and there's other sites you can go on.
Yeah, I always look at realtor.ca, and
Yeah, we have
sometimes
Realtor.
sometimes what I like to do is like I'll set the minimum price at like $10 million and just see the
See, yeah.
crazy shit that's out there. Just see all
Yeah, I've
the
done that. I've done like the Powerball search. Like if I won Powerball,
right.
I'm gonna put my threshold different. What could I possibly afford?
Yeah.
I feel like the stress level with apartment or house hunting really depends on whether how urgent it is that you find a place.
Yeah.
Like if you have time to look, it's not quite that bad, but if you
Mhm.
need to get in somewhere, it can be very stressful.
Yeah.
I don't know what their situation was, like if they had trouble finding the apartment and they had to get out and get in to another place as soon as possible, but that would be stressful, especially
I
moving countries.
Yes. I would be stressed apartment hunting in Australia because I'd open the door and there would just be a spider the size of a bear.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
he'd just be knocking at your door.
Yeah, and I
You
just like
open it.
slowly close the door. Okay, not that one.
And goodbye.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know, those fucking mandibles
Someone
waving
already
like,
lives here,
"G'day, mate."
unfortunately.
Yeah,
Ugh, scary.
yeah.
Scary.
Hey, that spider's just welcoming you to Australia, okay? Don't be rude.
Oh, poor Drew. Hello, Drew. Late, but I made it. Well,
Oh,
probably like 5 minutes more.
really sorry
Or
to break
so.
it to you.
Yeah, that's okay.
Oh.
We'll be back on, well, not Existential Gamer and Expired Milk, but I'll be back on Wednesday with Nana and Rusty. Do you start tour stuff like tomorrow, Expired Milk?
I do. I'm in Los Angeles.
Fun.
Gonna be putting this show together. There will be a lot of tears and arguments and drama, but at the end of the day, we will have a show.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Oh, Gabrielle asked what time the stream was on Wednesday. Do you
Oh,
know?
it's gonna be at just a second. Time. I have to time and date convert it. I think it's gonna be at 5, like the normal time of 5 PST, 8 EST. I think. I can't remember what. Just a minute. What time it's gonna? Because Nana and Rusty, they're in the same time zone now, and they said that they can do 10 a.m. their time. So let me see. Or actually, I think it was 9. Okay, sorry. It's going to be at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time and 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time
Okay.
on Wednesday. Yes.
Mm.
Yes. 4 Pacific, 7 Eastern, which is 5 for me and Lily. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I don't know the next time I'll be able to be on a
I
stream.
know.
Yeah. Aren't you straight up till Christmas, basically?
Yeah, we have 6 show nights a week every week
Oof.
through the week of Christmas. Need
Damn.
to
Wow.
start taking my vitamins.
That's
Yeah.
that's
Just
crazy.
just chase the vitamins down with some Red Bull. You'll be all right.
Mm.
Oh, yo, if I would ever had a Red Bull, that would be crazy. But have I told the story before? How I thought growing up there were all these anti-Red Bull commercials?
What?
Because yeah,
Really?
because I would just hear Red Bull gives you wings, and I thought that was a warning, like if you drink Red Bull, you'll die.
Oh my god. You're
No,
so
it's
So I
supposed to entice you into taking it.
no, I
Yes.
thought, oh yeah, Red Bull. The commercials say you shouldn't drink it because it'll kill you.
That's so funny.
Oh, that's really cute.
Alas, so maybe I should write to Red Bull's marketing department and be like, you should be clearer next time.
Be clearer. Yes.
Aw.
They'll probably be baffled, like, but giving you wings is good?
Yeah.
No, because then you fly up to heaven and you die.
Hmm.
Oh, and if you're not baptized, you're gonna go to hell.
Yeah, those
Exactly.
wings will come right off and you'll go right down.
Ugh. God. Good lord.
Yeah, but hopefully in the midst of tour, I'll still have time for some roller coaster tycoon.
Yay.
Yeah, and maybe The Sims. I re-download The Sims, but and speaking of houses, I keep making these great houses on The Sims, but then I forget how to do that cheat code that gives your Sims lots of money. So none of my Sims
Oh.
can
What is
afford
it
to
like,
move
Rose
into the
something?
Oh,
house.
no. Are you playing Sims 4?
Sims 2.
Oh, okay, that's different. Yeah.
Yeah, it
Isn't
used
the
to be
cheat
like
code something to do with
payload
roses?
something
Yeah. I
something.
think it's Rosebud.
That sounds familiar.
I
It's
know
probably
there's the
Rosebud.
word rose in it for sure.
Yeah.
I bet it's Rosebud. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now it's Motherload. Like if you played Sims 4, it would be Motherload. It gives you 50
Ah.
grand.
Yeah, I've,
But
I've never seen Sims 3 or 4. The last one I played was 2, so I went back to number 2.
Go with what you know.
Yeah. And then but now I know the actual rules for playing. I don't recall ever having to solve
oh,
work problems in The Sims. But when I try to play with like a character, it was like, oh, she has to make this decision at work. What do you choose? And I say, I don't know this one. It's like, oh, sorry, you've been fired. Excuse me?
hey, so I just looked it up, and Motherload still gives you 50,000 in Sims 2.
Ah.
You pull up the command
Hmm.
console by doing Control Shift C, and if you want just 1,000, type in "kaching," and it'll give you 1,000. Motherload gives you 50,000. If you want to
Memory
set,
unlocked.
yeah, if you want to set like a specific number of your own choosing, you type family funds, last name, and then number.
Ooh,
Wow.
that's truly some hacker material there.
You're welcome.
Very good. Very good.
Leave it to the gamer to tell you.
What would we do without you?
Mm.
Not have a bunch of money in Sims 2, I'll tell you that.
No.
See, someday I'm gonna graduate to more complicated games. Like, if I could, I would play all the Star Wars games, but there's too many
I am
puzzles.
shocked you've never played Knights of the Old Republic.
Yeah, I've never played KOTOR. I've only played Jedi Academy and Battlefront 2. In Jedi Academy, I vividly remember just running around in a circle in this room and not knowing how anything worked. And then and then in Battlefront, I kept trying to do this not like regular mode, but it was some sort of capture the flag mode. and I could never win the space battle, and then I just gave up.
Aw. Aw.
Yeah, someday.
Someday you'll do it.
Yeah.
Someday.
Someday.
Cute.
Mhm.
All right. Well, let's see. I'm gonna make some dinner shortly, I think. Thank you, gals, for joining.
Thank you.
Sweet.
Always. I'm so glad that you could come, Expired Milk, because I know your life is about to become insane.
Mm,
Mhm.
me
Mm,
too. Always good to have you on.
yeah, it is. Always.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So housekeeping streaming on Wednesday with Nena and Rusty. So keep your eyes peeled. And then after that, probably won't be streaming for a few weeks
Mm,
because of life stuff.
yeah.
So Wednesday is going to be the last hurrah for a little while. Just FYI, everyone.
We'll all bring our A game on Wednesday.
Okay.
And on the streaming break, we must all individually work to sow public disorder. I mean, what? What?
Very
Who
good.
said
Very
that?
good. Cool.
Not
I
me.
didn't hear
Don't
anything.
take down this video.
Did not hear. Yeah. Very good. All right, cool. Thank you so much. I guess have a great evening. Have a great week. I hope everyone, yeah, has a good week and everything is good. And we'll see you on Wednesday. And yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Good night, everybody.
Good
Make good
night.
choices.
Goodbye.